So we'll be starting with Carney's method. Okay, this particular method of Carney's method is also called as rotation contribution method, because in our moment distribution method, what we will be doing, we will be calculating or we will be determining the distribution of moments, but in this particular method we will be determining the rotation contribution. Okay, this is one of the displacement type of method. This is the displacement type of method. Okay, means the primary unknowns will be displacements, that is theta or delta values. Okay, this particular method of Carney's method, this particular method was developed by Mr. Gaspar Carney in 1947. This is a German engineer, okay, who has developed this particular method, and this particular method is extension of slope deflection method. That is, this particular method is developed from this slope deflection method. Okay, and but when we will be solving some problem using this particular method, we will have some feeling that this particular method is somewhat more or less like a moment distribution method. Okay, because we need to calculate the rotation contribution in this particular method. Okay. What are the advantages of using this particular Carney's method? Okay, the first and most important advantage is that this particular method is self-corrective. It is a self-corrective method, means if there is any mistake from the any engineer during analysis, then the answer will be self-corrected. Okay, the answer will be self-corrected. Then in moment distribution method, the moments are only unbalanced moments are distributed, but in this particular Carney's method, it distributes the total joint moments at any stage. It distributes total joint moment at any stage. Then this particular Carney's method is simple and easy as compared to slope deflection method and moment distribution method. Okay, all the computations of this method are carried out in a single line diagram. Okay, in case of slope deflection method, what we will be doing, we will be writing the slope deflection equation. If n number of unknowns are there, we will be writing n number of slope deflection equation, then we will go on solving those simultaneous slope deflection equation, and then we will be getting the displacement values of theta a, theta b, and etc. like this. But in this particular method, okay, the solution is carried out only in one single line diagram. Okay, then in this particular method, the effects of joint rotation are considered in each cycle of iteration. Okay, and the convergence in this method is very fast, which leads to the solution in just a few cycle of iteration, because you have seen in the moment distribution method, okay, what happened, we will be carrying out the iteration of unbalanced moment until and unless the unbalanced moments are negligible, but in this particular method we will be getting the final solution in very few steps. Okay, then different types of problems can be solved by using this particular Carney's method. Okay, the first type of problems can be solved by can be analyzed for continuous beam. Okay, two different types of continuous beams can be solved by using this Carney's method. The first one is continuous beam without settlement, and the second type of problem will be continuous beam with settlement. Okay, but this particular part is not there in your syllabus. This particular part is not there in your syllabus. We will be having only analysis of simple or portal frames by using Carney's method. Okay, but for understanding how is the procedure of this analysis of portal frames is there, we will be solving one problem on continuous beam which will not be asked in your examination. This particular problem on continuous beam will not be asked in your examination because it is not there in your syllabus. Okay, so we will first go for one of the problem on continuous beam, okay, for understanding purpose only, and then we will solve the main problems of simple or portal frames. Okay, then we will be having two different types of problems can be solved by using this Carney's method. The first one is the portal frame with sway. Portal frame with sway. Okay, with sway means whenever there will be some lateral displacement is possible in any type of portal frame, then we will be considering that as a portal frame with sway. Okay, when there will be displacement due to unsymmetrical loading, due to unsymmetrical support condition, unsymmetrical cross sections of beams or columns, etc. Due to that there may be some sway is possible. Okay, so two different types of problems of portal frames can be solved by using this Kani's method. The first one is portal frame with sway and portal frame, second is portal frame without sway. Okay. Okay, now portal frames, we know what is a portal frame. Portal frame is a combination of columns and beams for which the joints are rigidly connected with each other. These joints are rigidly connected with each other. Then we will consider that as a portal frame. Okay, so there are two different types of portal frames are there. The first one is symmetrical portal frame and second one is unsymmetrical portal frame. Okay, a portal frame is considered as a symmetrical if the member properties of different structure, beams or columns, loading arrangements, support conditions are symmetrical along any of the axis. Central axis of your frame is symmetrical, then we will be considering that as a symmetrical portal frame. Okay, else the portal frame will be unsymmetrical. We will see some examples of symmetrical and unsymmetrical portal frames. Okay, we will see some of the example. Okay, you can see here this particular three frames, these are symmetrical portal frames. Because you can see, if we draw one centroidal axis like this, you can see this particular part is a replica of the part on the right side. Okay, so this will be considered as a symmetrical portal frame. You can see in this particular figure B. Also, if we draw one central vertical axis, you can see the part on the left is the replica of part on the right side of this particular frame. Okay, you can see the beams are same. If we consider this as I, okay, and this as 2i, you can see here for this particular column AB, for this column AB and CD, the I is same, length is same, and if we see the loading arrangement is also symmetrical about this particular axis xx. Let us consider this axis is xs, then loading is symmetrical, then the properties of all the beams and columns are symmetrical about this particular axis. Okay, if we see this particular figure C, then you can again see, if we draw one symmetrical axis about this particular frame, okay, C frame, okay, then you can see about this particular axis xx, all the loading is symmetrical because this particular load is again W, this particular load is again W. Loading is symmetrical about this particular axis. At the same time, the beams, length of beam are same, the support condition you can see here are same. Okay, so this will be the some example of portal frames with symmetry. Here again in this particular figures you can see here, okay, we will be having this particular figure A and B. These two frames are there. In this particular frame A, you can see here, if we draw one central axis like this, if we draw some central axis like this, xx axis, you can see here the portion, let us consider this is ABCD E. The portion ABE is replica of the portion DCE because the loading is symmetrical about this axis xx. The moment of inertia of column AB and CD are same. You can see at the same time the axis is centroidal. Okay. Now if you see this particular figure B, if you see this particular frame B, you can also see here, if we draw one centroidal axis xx like this, then the loading arrangement on left of this particular axis and right of this particular axis are symmetrical. At the same time you can see support conditions are symmetrical, then the values of I are symmetrical, about this particular axis xx. So this type of portal frames are considered as portal frames with symmetry or portal frames with symmetry. Okay, now if you see these particular frames here which are shown here, let us consider the first frame shown. This is a frame. Okay, this is an unsymmetrical frame because there is no symmetry is there. If you again see this particular frame B, if you see this particular frame B, you can see here the loading is unsymmetrical because there is no load from this side. Again you can see the height of these columns AB and CD are different. AB and CD are different. Okay, at the same time you can see the support condition here is different. Here the there is only joint, whereas we will be having some support here. Therefore the B frame will also be a asymmetrical frame, will be asymmetrical or unsymmetrical frame. If we again see this particular frame C, you can again see here the frame is unsymmetrical, okay, or it is not symmetrical about any axis. Okay, again we are having some frame D here, we are having another frame D here. You can see the loading is symmetrical, the loading is symmetrical about this centroidal vertical axis xx, but you can see the length of this member AB is different, whereas as compared with the length of this member CD. Okay, again you can see some load P is acting here, but there is no load, equal load of P is acting here. Therefore these are some examples of portal frames with unsymmetrical loading, Okay, now in slope deflection method you have seen this is the typical equation of slope deflection method. If we are having some beam like this, if we are having some portion of a continuous beam like this, let us consider this end is this end is A and this particular end is B, then we will be writing the slope deflection equation for member AB like this. The slope deflection equation for a member AB, that is final end moment for AB is equal to fixed end moment at AB plus 4 EI theta A. Here theta A is the rotation at near end. Okay, so MFAB plus 4 EI theta A plus twice EI theta B upon L minus 6 EI delta upon L square. Okay, this will be the basic slope deflection equation for member AB, whereas the slope deflection equation for BA, this will be like this, that is MABA is equal to MFBA, that is fixed end moment BA, plus 4 EI theta B plus twice EI theta A minus 6 EI delta upon L square. This is the basic slope deflection equation. Okay, we have seen this already. Okay, so we won't discuss this more. Now what are the reasons for development of bending moment for any beam? Let us consider we are having some beam AB which is shown here. We are having some beam AB which is shown here. This end is A and this end is B. It is subjected to some load W1 and W2 which are as shown in this particular figure. So whenever bending moment will be developed in this particular beam AB, okay, that will be due to, the first reason will be due to fixed end moment developed due to external loading. The fixed end moment developed due to external loading. Second reason for development of fixed end moment is a rotation at near end. Second reason is a rotation at near end. Second reason will be rotation at the near end. Okay, and the third reason will be rotation at the far end. This will be the third reason, and the fourth reason for development of bending moment will be bending moment due to displacement of settlement. Okay, now if you see this particular equation, if we see this particular equation here, okay, so first reason is why bending moment is developed due to fixed end moment developed due to external load. So this is the reason one due to which the bending moment is developed, that is fixed end moment, Okay, the second reason, you can see the second reason here is rotation at near end, rotation at near end. Okay, this is the second reason, this is the second reason due to which the bending moment is developed. You can see this is the bending moment which is developed due to rotation at near end. Near end for AB, near end for AB is theta A, near end for AB is theta A, therefore this is the second reason. If you see this third reason or third value, twice EI theta B upon L, okay, this is the third reason, that is rotation at far end. You can see here, this is the rotation at far end, that is rotation at theta B, rotation at this end B. And the fourth reason for development of bending moment is bending moment due to displacement or settlement. You can see here this additional term is deducted from this particular equation because this is the bending moment due to displacement. This will be the fourth reason, displacement or settlement. Okay, these are the four reasons why bending moments are developed in any beams. Okay, now let us consider we will be having some beam AB. Let us consider we are having some beam AB like this. This is end A and this is end B. Okay, so first reason whenever there will be some bending moment is developed, the first reason will be due to fixed end moment. The bending moment developed due to fixed end moment, fixed end moment. Okay, you can see here, this is your beam AB, this is your beam AB. Due to external loading or due to loading on this particular beam, the deformed shape of this particular beam AB, this will be something like this. Let us consider this is the deformed shape or elastic curve, whatever you say. Okay, so first reason for development of bending moment is the fixed end moment, bending moment due to fixed end moment. Let us consider the bending moment developed due to fixed end moment at end A is MFAB, and bending moment or fixed end moment which is developed at end B, it is MFBA. So what are the fixed end moment developed due to external loading W1 and W2? These are MFAB, fixed end moment at AB, and fixed end moment MFBA, which will be at B. Okay, second reason which is responsible for development of fixed end moment, development of bending moment, that will be moment due to rotation, rotation at near end, okay, that is rotation at near end. Okay, let us consider for development of let us consider the moment required for producing unit rotation at end A is 2m-AB. Okay, let us consider here we have the rotation bending moment developed due to rotation is considered as 2m-AB. Okay, as we are some moment is developing here equal to twice m-AB, that is twice m-AB, half of this moment will be transferred here, at end B. Okay, at end B, and this moment will be m-AB, this particular moment transferred at end B, this will be m-AB, Okay, now for the moment or bending moment which is developed at end B, which is developed at this end B, in this figure B you can see, which is developed due to rotation of this end B. Let us consider this bending moment is equal to 2m-BA. So some bending moment is developed here due to rotation of this particular end B. Okay, rotation is theta B. So half of this moment will be transferred here, half of this bending moment will be transferred here. So this bending moment will be m-BA, this will be m-BA. Therefore the total bending moment at this end A, this will be equal to this bending fixed end moment 1 this bending moment due to rotation of near end, that is considered as 2, and bending moment which is developed due to rotation of far end, that is 3. So final bending moment which is developed at this A, this will be MAB, this will be MAB, this will be equal to MFAB plus this, that is bending moment or rotation, bending moment developed due to rotation of near end. So this is twice M dash AB, this is twice M dash AB plus this third number, that is bending moment which is developed due to rotation of far end B, So this will be plus M dash BA. So this is the final equation of Kani's method. Okay, here this term twice M dash AB or M dash AB, this term M dash AB, this is equal to twice EI theta A divided by L, which is the equation we have used in the slope deflection equation. You can see in slope deflection equation, you can see here in slope deflection equation we have used this particular term, that is this will be 2 into twice EI theta A divided by L. We can write this particular term like this also. So you can see here this M dash AB, this is equal to this value twice into 2 EI theta A divided by L. Okay, so there is some similarity in slope deflection method and this Kani's method. Okay, therefore we consider this particular slope deflection method as an extension of slope deflection method. Okay, so this is the final equation which is used for calculating the final bending moment at AB, that is MAB is equal to MFAB plus twice M dash AB, what we are considering twice M dash AB. This is the bending moment developed at end A, this is the bending moment which is developed at A due to rotation of this joint A, that is rotation of this joint A to theta A. This particular bending moment of 2 M dash AB is developed, whereas this bending moment of M dash BA, it is developed due to rotation of this joint B, and the bending moment which is developed at this joint B, that is twice M dash BA, Therefore the final bending moment at AB will be equal to MAB is equal to MFAB plus twice M dash AB, that is this particular value, plus M dash BA, that is this particular value. Okay, similarly the final bending moment MBA, the final bending moment for member BA, that is from this end to this end, this will be equal to MFBA plus that is this fixed moment value plus this bending moment which is developed due to rotation at far end, that is M dash AB, we'll consider this value first. Okay, we'll consider this value first, that is twice M dash BA, twice M dash BA plus this particular value of M dash AB, So this will be the equation, for calculating the bending moment. This will be the equation for calculating final end moment at joint B, Okay, we'll see this here. Okay, I'll explain this again. You can see here what we have done. The first bending for this particular member AB, which is subjected to some loading, the first reason will be for development of bending moment will be fixed end moment. Therefore, if we want to calculate this final end moment AB, that is which is given by this particular equation in Kani's method, so MAB is equal to this fixed end moment AB, Okay, this twice M dash AB, this is the bending moment which is developed due to rotation of this end A, through a rotation of theta a. Therefore, this is the equation will become mfab plus twice m dash ab plus bending moment which is developed here at joint A due to rotation of this joint B here. Okay, so this will be m dash ba. Okay, so final end moment MAB, this is equal to fixed end moment at AB plus 2 into m dash AB plus m dash BA. Okay, similarly for bending moment MBA, that is final end moment BA, the equation is, or the equation for Kani's method is MFBA, that is fixed end moment at BA, MFBA, that is fixed end moment at BA, second, this will not be second, okay, this will be second, that is bending moment developed due to rotation of near end. For BA, rotation near end will be B. Okay, so here we will be considering the bending moment developed is twice m dash BA, so add it here, and the bending moment which is developed due to rotation of far end A, that will be m dash AB. Okay, we write this here. Okay, so this is the final equation of Kani's method. This is the final equation of Kani's method. Okay, if we put these two equations here on the screen, these values m dash AB, these values m dash AB and m dash BA, these are called as rotation contribution. These values m dash AB and m dash BA are called as rotation contribution. So simply we can consider this particular equation as final moment is equal to fixed end moment. You can see here final moment is equal to fixed end moment plus this m dash AB is considered as a rotation contribution. Okay, so rotation contribution of near end, because if this is the particular beam, okay, and if we are applying some more, there is some rotation theta a here. Okay, then the bending moment developed, this will be twice m dash AB, and this m dash AB is considered as rotation contribution. Therefore 2 into rotation contribution of near end plus rotation contribution of far end, because this is m dash BA, this is the rotation contribution of far end, this is the rotation contribution of near end, and this is the fixed end moment. If we see this particular equation in terms of BA, you can see the final end moment MBA, this is equal to fixed end moment, that is MFBA plus 2 into rotation contribution of near end, plus rotation contribution of far end. You can see here rotation contribution of far end. Okay, so this is the equation. Okay, you will get it clear when we will be solving some problems. Okay, now next point is calculation of rotation contribution. We have seen the final end moment is sum of fixed end moment plus 2 into rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end. Okay, so if we see this particular equation here or this particular figure here, okay, so this will be, if we are considering the rotation of this joint A, then this will be the rotation contribution at near end. Okay, at the same time, if we are considering the rotation or displacement at joint B, then this particular value will be rotation contribution at near end. But if for this particular bending moment, calculation of bending moment BA, the rotation contribution at far end, this will be m dash AB, rotation contribution due to rotation at far end, this will be m dash AB. Okay, like this we will be calculating the rotation contribution. The next step will, or next point is, we need to in moment distribution, we know that we need to do the distribution of moment, but in this particular method of Kani's method, what we have to do, we have to calculate the rotation contribution. So we can calculate this fixed end moment value by using standard formula, but in addition to this we have to calculate these values of these rotation contribution, these m dash ab, m dash ab and m dash ba, m dash ba. These are considered as rotation contribution. These are considered as a rotation contribution, and we have to calculate these values of this rotation contribution. So we'll see how we can calculate the values of rotation contribution. Okay, we will only write down the equation today, and when we will be going for the problems, you will get the idea how to calculate the rotation contribution. Okay, now the rotation contribution, this rotation contribution is given by the equation rotation contribution is equal to m dash ba plus summation of fixed end moment, summation of fixed end moment, multiply this particular equation with rotation factor, rotation factor, rotation factor. Okay, so rotation contribution at near end is calculated by, at near end you can consider this equation will be rotation contribution at near end, this will be equal to, that is m dash ab. Let us consider if we are having some beam ab, if we are having some beam ab like this, okay, some portion of a beam, let us consider we are having some beam AB like this. Okay, then rotation contribution at near end, that is m dash ab, this is equal to rotation contribution at far end, that is rotation contribution at far end, that is m dash ba. You can see here m dash ba plus fixed summation of fixed end moment, at joint A, and multiply this particular value with the rotation factor, we haven't yet seen what is this rotation factor. We will see this in the next slide. We will see this particular value in the next slide. So rotation contribution at near end is given by this particular equation, that is m dash ab is equal to rotation contribution at far end plus sum of fixed end moment at joint A multiplied with the rotation factor. Okay, similarly if we want rotation contribution, okay, we'll see next slide. Okay, sorry, okay, just a minute, one slide is missing there, I think. Okay, I think the slide is deleted. Okay, let me check. Yeah, not an issue. I'll take one more slide here. Okay, so next point is a rotation factor. Next point is rotation factor. Okay, this rotation factor is given by the equation. This is equal to, rotation factor is equal to minus half of distribution factor, Okay, this distribution factor is same as that we have calculated in moment distribution method. Okay, so we get the equation rotation factor is equal to minus half of distribution factor. Therefore this rotation factor RF is equal to minus half, and distribution factor is calculated by Ki or small ki. I'll write down this as small ki divided by summation of Ki. This is the equation which is used for calculating the rotation factor, So we have seen three equations. Okay, we have seen three equations. The first equation is this final end moment MAB. This is equal to MFAB plus twice M dash AB plus M dash BA. Okay, second equation we have seen is this particular equation, that this m dash ab or rotation contribution this is equal to rotation contribution at far end, that is m dash ba, plus summation of fixed end moment at that particular joint multiplied by rotation factor, and this rotation factor this is equal to half or minus half into distribution factor. This distribution factor is similar to that of we have calculated in the moment distribution factor. So this will be equal to minus half into ki divided by summation of ki. These three equations will be required for solving or analyzing problems of this Kani's method. Okay.